From sunrise to sunset, and through the changes of the 4 seasons. With this passing of time, humans' knowledge towards herbs have gone from estranged to familiar. Chinese ancestors have perfected this wisdom for many generations of trial and errors, and learn how to use these ordinary-looking grasses, leaves, roots, and stems. These wisdoms of Chinese herbs have been passed down through many generations, not only from tales and legends, but it has endured the test of time.
纠正就晒以后，它表面和里边都是黑的，闻着是清香，吃着是甜。
The real efficiency of herbal medicines can only be unleashed by carefully following traditional guides of the wise concerning picking, handling, and processing. Zhangjiajie is nestled in the Wuling Mountains of Hunan, China, and is famous for the variety of peaks and hundreds of rivers running through the region. The surrounding primitive jungle conditions supply the perfect breeding ground for wild medicinal herbs to grow. Huangshan Chen, a Tujia tribal herbalist, sets out as usual for a busy day in the mountains. In front of him are steep rocky hills. Behind are deep, dangerous cliffs. There are no trials, but he knows his way through these mountains by heart. Finally, after hours of searching while climbing to 1,100 meters above sea level, he finds a trace of the medicinal herb he is hunting for. He shou wu, also known as the fleece flower root, Chinese knotweed, or climbing smartweed. The He shou wu herb, in its raw sun-dried form, has the ability to cool and detoxify the body, as well as aid as a laxative. Its taste is bittersweet and slightly warming. When He shou wu root is cut open, you will see light brownish rings in a cloud-shaped pattern. Like tree rings, these also indicate the age of the He shou wu. The cut and sun-dried He shou wu herb is soaked with Gaoliang liquor for days and is used as an herbal tincture for oral and tropical purposes. It's effective on skin rashes and relieves itchiness for people living in humid climates. By following the ancient practice of soaking sun-dried He shou wu for long periods of time, the potency and efficiency of the He shou wu can be greatly increased. "600 kilometers distance from Zhangjiajie, the morning bell chimes at a 1,000-year-old Wudan Taoist temple. Here, a 73-year-old Taoist master named Wang Tai-ke carries on the tradition as the 24th generation of Quanzheng sect of the Huashan school. He is about to show us the relationship between traditional Chinese medicine and Taoism by processing the medicinal herb He shou wu. Wang knows everything about the wild He shou wu, which is harvested in the late fall and still carries the scent of the frost and earth. His traditional preparation of He shou wu is like a continuous dialogue with nature. The process takes time, patience, and compassion. He shou wu is a distinctive medicinal herb that differs greatly from simple sun-dried forms. The processed herb is transformed from the sun-dried form with its cooling and detoxifying effects into a tonic herb that nourishes the supplements, the jing or essence of the body. Also, notably, It can darken the hair and beard. This first batch of raw, sun-dried He Shou Wu has been soaked in yellow rice wine for 3 hours. The yellow rice wine acts as a catalyst to transform He Shou Wu from a simple herb into one with medicinal properties. In addition to the wine, black beans and black sesame are added. These key ingredients enhance the potency of the processed He Shou Wu. According to the Chinese medicinal 5-element theory, black-colored medicinal herbs like black beans and black sesame can fortify the functions of the kidney jing, which helps He Shou Wu to become an even more potent tonic herb. Wang Taike is from a long line of Chinese medicine doctors. He has harvested wild herbs in the mountains since his father first took him when he was 13. From his father, he learned Chinese medicinal knowledge through on-the-job training hunting herbs in the mountains. These half-century of lessons have left a lasting impression on him. Now his son Wang Yangbing and many of his Taoist disciples are also following his path to learn and practice Chinese herbal medicine. Processing of He Shou Wu. It's seemingly simple, yet there is a hidden Tao concept not immediately recognizable to the uninitiated. This involves taking the time and attention needed to manage the temperature of the water while maintaining a steady heat supply. The water and fire must be in balance. This is the Tao of steaming. Wang knows with just a touch of his hand at the best time to remove the herbs from the stove. The most common way these days to process He Shou Wu is a non-stop 18-hour machine steaming process. Traditional in his ways, Wang insists on choosing the old steaming methods which take longer but have more satisfying results. After one steaming, He Shou Wu is put under the sun to dry. After the herb is dried, it's put back on the stove for more steaming. This process is repeated 9 times for at least a month.
9蒸9晒以后，它表面和里边都是黑的，闻着是清香，吃着是甜。
During 60 years of work, Wang has learned that life is a process of cultivating the mind, the body, and the spirit as one. This cultivation requires a lifetime. Wang shows this not only through his skill and compassion, but through his devotion to Taoism and Chinese herbal medicine as a way to help his fellow human beings. Over the course of his lifetime, the power of his peacefulness is revealed in its unconquerable spirit. Within the groups of people who study herbs, much medical knowledge is passed on, but another important thing handed down to further generations are the legends. Among the multitude of herbal legends, one love story is as yet untold. In this tale of love, one herb awaits its mate's arrival from thousands of miles away. This is the legendary love story of Du Zheng and Niu Shi. It's early June and the warm monsoon winds wake up the mountain forests. 53-year-old Zhao Jianguo rises early to harvest precious herbs. Zhengjia Jie has long been a naturally protected habitat for animals and plants due to the difficult access through its rocky mountains and deeply cut river valleys. Among the protected species is the duzheng tree, whose age can be traced back millions of years. This living fossil tree grows undisturbed in the natural paradise of Zhengjia Jie. Duzhang has been used as a medicinal herb for 2,000 years in China. It's one of the best and safest herbs according to the ancient herb classics. The Duzhang herb comes from the dried bark of the tree. Its herbal properties strengthen bones and tendons and prevent miscarriage during pregnancies. For these reasons, it's a highly prized tonic herb. Duzhang is commonly combined with other herbs to enhance its healing effect. During the hot, humid summer, the rapid growth of trees loosens the bark, making it peel away from the trunk of the tree. This is the best time to harvest the Duzhang.
从前我们采这个杜仲树皮呢，都是把这个树斩断，斩断了以后呢，就一节一节的采，采了以后呢，把这个树呢就做柴烧了。
The Duzhang tree grows slowly, taking 15 years to become mature enough for debarking. The old cut down and debark way nearly wiped out all the wild Duzhang tree forests. Zhao now uses a technique called the half-tree cut. Zhao uses a sickle to slice open the bark of the Duzhang tree. He then uses a bamboo knife to carefully peel the bark away from the trunk, taking care not to damage the inner tissues of the tree. This technique peels off the bark only halfway down the trunk. After 3 to 5 years of peeling, the Duzhang tree can regrow its outer layer bark, making this more sustainable harvesting method. After pressing the bark flat, it is sun-dried on both sides. Later, the tough surface skin is scrubbed off and then cut into square pieces. The Duzhang bark is now ready to be matched up with the other herbs to enhance their efficiency. A 1,000 kilometers away from the Zhangjiajie, the Yellow River fertilizes the land around Jiaozuo, making it perfect for growing herbs. It's early winter and Li Zhihui has come back home from his work in the city to help on his father's farm. The first frost of winter has arrived and they need to harvest Nuishi herb before the ground freezes. For Li's father, this harvest is the result of a year of sweat and dedication. The herbal part of Niushi, or Achiranthesis as it is known, is the dried root. Its Chinese name comes from its resemblance to a cow's leg joint. The Niushi grown in Jiaozuo goes by the name of Niushi. Niushi has similar medicinal properties to Duzhang. They both strengthen the bones and tendons. Niushi is also an anticoagulant and diuretic. According to the ancient texts, it can bring the upward rebellious qi downward. The Li family's sole source of income comes from the 7 acres of Niushi they farm. The harvesting is hard and the pace is slow for both farmer and son. Niushi has long, deep underground roots requiring great care while extracting them. This is a process that can only be done by hand. No machine can take their place in the harvest.
一直在那里薅着，一般情况人嘛熬一天的腰都受不了，这是最累的时候。
The toil of the Li family pays off and they have a good harvest this year. Their farm Niushi is thick and lustrous with an oily texture that is an important feature of high-quality Niushi. There is a saying in Chinese medicine, use Niushi for treating conditions below the knees. This means that the best healing effects of Niushi are for symptoms affecting the lower legs. To achieve the best healing effect, Niushi is often teamed up with dezheng in Chinese herbal formulas. While dezheng is a strong tonic herb for bones and tendons, Niushi assists in strengthening and invigorating them. There are a complementary herbal match, each enhancing each other. It's October 23rd, a seasonal frost has appeared. It's the time of year for people in Shandong province to eat stewed daikon radish and persimmons. It's also the time of year that Chinese herbal medicine doctor Zheng Runen knows is the right time to harvest a special healing herb. The phytochemicals of shuangshangye reach the highest levels in frosty mulberry leaf. Modern research has helped to verify the best time to harvest shuangshangye. The ancient Chinese herbal texts describe its application in several pages. Every part of the mulberry tree harvested and processed in different seasons can be used as a Chinese medicinal herb. In the spring, the mulberry twig is used as an anti-rheumatism herb. In the summer, the mulberry itself as body fluid nourishment. In the autumn, it's the leaf of shuangshangye, and in the winter, the root peel of mulberry tree acts as a diuretic herb. This mulberry ranch in Xiajing County in Dezhou, Shandong has existed in some form for over 2,000 years. Zheng's clinic is located at the edge of the ranch. Zheng's patients come from all over to see him, not only for his medicinal treatment, but for the shuangshangye as well. Zheng thinks the quality of a good medicinal herb should follow the seasonal harvest. The leaf collectors here follow this thinking and head for the mulberry ranch. These tall, 1,000-year-old mulberry trees make it difficult to harvest their leaves. These resourceful collectors use bamboo sticks to knock down the leaves from the old trees and cloth bags made from bed sheets to catch them. They start swinging the bamboo sticks, and the air is filled with falling leaves. In different seasons, Chinese people use mulberry leaves for different purposes. In the spring, the leaves feed the silkworms, and in the autumn, the leaves are used for making herbal tea. After being air-dried, the fresh shuangshangye becomes one of the medicinal herbs sold at the herbal pharmacy. Zheng grew up in this ancient mulberry ranch. At the first autumn frost, he will harvest the shuangshangye and personally prepare and process it according to his ancestors' patented herbal prescriptions. The traditional practice has been carried out by the Zheng family for generations. The 1,000-year-old mulberry trees have borne witness to this tradition for all this time and beyond. The herbalists hunt for medicinal herbs throughout China since the herbs grew in every possible place. Traditional Chinese medicine is what brings them together and makes possible the medicinal applications that remedy human ailments. What kind of fate brought them together? It was the love of their parents, the care of their mentors, and the hope to overcome great obstacles. These things brought them together. We should all be grateful that they came together and passed down the herbal knowledge and wisdom. We should give thanks to the ancient herbal hunters and scholars.